President Park Geun-hye has accepted Prime Minister Lee Wan-koo's resignation upon her arrival home from a long trip to South America. Meanwhile, the president has been nursing her health since her arrival, which has taken a sudden turn stemming from her long overseas visit and a stack of political issues waiting for her here at home. And while no Korean casualties have been reported yet from the disastrous earthquake in Nepal, there are still hundreds of Korean citizens there who need support. Hello and welcome to News Today on KBS World. It's Tuesday, April 28th. I'm Luke Clary. President Park Geun-hye returned to Korea after nearly 2 weeks abroad to a resigning prime minister. The president accepted Lee Wan-koo's resignation upon her arrival to little comment. And after a farewell ceremony late Monday afternoon, Lee walked out of the prime minister's office for the last time.
With President Park Geun-hye's acceptance of Prime Minister Lee Wan-koo's resignation, he left office just 70 days after he was sworn in. He is the second shortest-serving prime minister in Korean history. Lee first apologized to the people, saying that he had thought much about a public official's rigorous responsibility.
최근 상황과 관련하여 국민 여러분께 많은 심려를 끼쳐드린 점에 대해 매우 송구스럽게 생각을 합니다.
He added that he had high hopes for changing and reforming the nation, but is very disappointed that he couldn't fulfill his duty. But he indirectly denied the allegation that he had received bribes.
드리고 싶은 말씀은 많습니다만 진실은 반드시 밝혀질 것으로 믿으며 오늘은 여백을 남기고 떠나고자 합니다.
When taking pictures with the employees who came to see him off, he bit his lips and appeared to be holding back tears from overwhelming emotions. Lee underwent physical examination immediately after the departing ceremony. His future plan then is to get ready for the prosecution's summon as an incumbent lawmaker.
President Park Geun-hye's health has taken a sudden turn since arriving in Korea, stemming from a prolonged trip to South America and a stack of political issues waiting for her here at home. She's been resting and nursing her health.
After disembarking from her plane early Monday morning, President Park Geun-hye headed straight to a hospital located near the presidential office. She had been suffering from stomachache and fever due to her prolonged tour of South America. The results of her checkup showed that she had chronic fatigue, stomach cramps, stomachache, and a mild fever caused by a sore throat. She was prescribed bed rest.
검진 과정에 참여한 의료진은 오늘 검진 결과에 따라 박 대통령께서는 조속한 건강 회복을 위해 하루나 이틀 정도 절대적인 안정이 필요하다고 권장했습니다.
While resting, the president first took care of the most pressing domestic issue, accepting the resignation of Prime Minister Lee Wan-koo. However, sources say she had to postpone the cabinet meeting scheduled for today and decided to focus on her recovery. The presidential office is mulling how to announce the president's stance on the Sungwon-jong scandal. The opposition party is strongly demanding an apology from the president, and the leadership of the ruling party is also looking forward to hearing the president's stance. The prevailing opinion within the ruling party is that it would not be right to indefinitely postpone the announcement of the president's stance due to her health.
All eyes around the world on Nepal this week after the mountain nation sustained a devastating earthquake killing thousands. And while no Korean casualties have been reported yet, there are still many Korean travelers there hoping to get back home soon.
A total of 48 members, including 44 students from Taebong High School in Changwon, South Gyeongsang Province, had left for Nepal. The students and staff members were headed to do some volunteer work and engage in cultural exchanges. They were staying in the Tanahu region near the quake's epicenter on April 25th. Fortunately, most of them stayed on the school field and escaped injury.
문화 교류를 하고 있는 시간이었어가지고 운동장에서 다들 같이 있었습니다. 몇 명 안에서 소품 준비한다고 몇 명 있다가 바로 나오고 이랬어요.
The group has moved to the Pokhara region, which was relatively unscathed by Saturday's earthquake. However, their parents are demanding the government send a chartered plane to bring them back, since there's no knowing if and when aftershocks will occur.
대한민국 국민이 해외에 나가 있는데 어떤 그 재난에 의해서 이제 안전이 좀 많이 힘들어졌다. 그에 대해서 국가로서 책임을 다해야 하지 않느냐는 그런 내용입니다.
With about 650 Korean nationals residing in Nepal and up to 1,000 tourists from Korea visiting at this time of the year, it's still premature to say they are all out of harm's way.
A man convicted of robbery and homicide 19 years ago and serving a life sentence has gone on the lam while on a 5-day leave from prison. In Korea, prisoners can earn rewards of leave for model behavior, but it's been a week since convict Hong Seung-man disappeared. Police are on the trail.
A man wearing a black hat and a blue jacket moves hastily. He looks around and heads to a restroom. The man is presumed to be convict Hong Seung-man, who had been serving a life sentence in Jeonju prison. Hong disappeared after taking a leave. Police have stepped up their search efforts in the bus terminal, internet cafes, and motels located in Busan based on this security camera footage, which was taped on the night of April 23rd. But Hong's exact whereabouts are still unknown. Police have come under fire for loopholes in the cooperation protocol among different police departments. A man presumed to be Hong sneaked into Busan on April 23rd, but it took Busan police 3 days to request cooperation in ferreting him out. Meanwhile, the Korea Coast Guard has stepped up inspections in coastal areas to prevent Hong from stowing away.
As the weather turns balmy, trains are plagued by people secretly taking pictures of women in tighter or more revealing outfits. Cases of assault seem to rise with the temperatures as well. Here's more.
This man appears to be sleeping, but his mobile phone is pointed at the legs of a woman standing right in front of him. This man keeps pushing up against the woman, not knowing that he's been reported to the police. Later, he's finally caught.
너무 성추행 같은 것도 요즘 문제 많이 되고 해서 걱정이 많이 되다 보니까 계단 오를 때 가방으로 좀 가리고.
Sexual offenses occurring in trains increased 84% over the past 3 years. It largely happens between May and July, when outfits are shorter and thinner, and during the busy commuting hours. A wide array of professional spy cam devices is available.
손목시계라든지 안경 이런 몰래카메라 이렇게 기기들이 많이 나왔는데요. 그런 기기들을 이용해서
Even when caught in the act of sexual harassment or secretly taking photos, perpetrators are hit with a fine of only about $2,800, giving rise to criticism that penalties for such offenses are too light.
Virtual reality technologies have been developing rapidly. Korean companies are also stepping up their efforts to establish a presence in the global market.
A vehicle is driven carefully on a narrow road. At one point, the weather conditions become foggy. Then, all of a sudden, it becomes dark. This equipment helps users practice driving large trucks by looking at a virtual reality screen. There is even virtual reality equipment for military training, such as infiltrating enemy lines by air and attacking them on the ground. Now that virtual reality technologies have become advanced enough to portray reality with utmost precision, companies around the world have been stepping up their efforts to develop them. In Korea, collaboration between conglomerates and small firms is relatively weak, as the conglomerates are mostly focused on the development and manufacturing of equipment, while small and mid-sized IT venture firms are in charge of content development.
생태계로 엮여져야지만이 세계의 승자가 될 수 있는데 우리 가전사는 너무 디바이스에 무게중심이 너무 많이 가 있어요.
If large corporations and small firms start collaborating closely, Korean companies will be able to develop technologies that raise battery efficiency and minimize dizziness more quickly.
South Korea has gone through a turbulent time to rise from the ashes of the Korean War and achieve rapid economic development. An exhibition is now open to highlight each of those dramatic changes in the nation's modern history. Let's take a look.
On April 18, 1960, the nation was shaken by a protest against the election fraud committed by President Lee Wan-koo and his government during the March 15th presidential election. The scene of political gangsters attacking student protesters was captured in a photo. Revealing the cruelty of the Lee Wan-koo government, the photo ignited the April 19th revolution. In Gwangju, in May of 1980, these photos depict soldiers' brutal suppression of pro-democracy movements. The photographer risked his life to take the historical photos, which couldn't be made public at the time.
참상들 찍어도 그때는 보도가 못 됐었지 않나요? 그래 참 마음이 아팠었고.
In these letters sent by South Koreans working in the Middle East in the 1980s, the workers introduced themselves as young men who were sent to plant the Korean spirit in foreign soil. These photos and letters testify to the nation's turbulent modern history, which cannot be taught through school textbooks alone.
The first episode of the KBS drama School 2015 aired on Monday. This and more coming up in today's entertainment news.
인생은 초콜릿 상자와 같다고 했다.
This TV drama is about a schoolgirl who is a victim of school bullying, but becomes the most popular student through a mysterious accident. It is the 6th season of the KBS drama series School, which has created a huge sensation with each season. Actress Kim So-hyun will play the female lead. She will be joined by model-turned-actor Nam Joo-hyuk and idol group B2B member Yuk Sung-jae as the male leads. Hip-hop artist Tiger J.K. participated in the original soundtrack of the drama to deliver a message of hope to marginalized youths. Hollywood blockbuster Avengers 2 Age of Ultron earned nearly $196 million in the global market in its first week of release. It was released in 44 countries around the world, excluding North America and China. The movie has recorded its largest earnings in South Korea with nearly $30 million. Singer Kim Ye-rim, known for her alluring voice, has returned with a new album following a 1.5-year hiatus. Kim captured more mature emotions in her third mini-album, which contains a total of 7 tracks.
Spring is the ideal time for family outings, but you don't have to travel far to find scenic spots to enjoy this spring. Here's a look at some of the scenic back alleys in the heart of Seoul. Staircases in this narrow back alley are decorated with fish and colorful flowers. This mural neighborhood is located in Ihwadong, Seoul. The neighborhood looks almost exactly the way it looked back in the 1950s. Thanks to the murals, it's become a popular attraction.
오늘 날씨도 좋고 해서 여자친구랑 골목길에 벽화 구경하러 왔는데 벽화도 이쁘고 여자친구도 이쁘고 해서 너무 좋네요.
In the past, Ihwadong used to be a destitute area. But after most of its residents left, murals and sculptures took their place, transforming a previously desolate neighborhood into one full of vigor.
2006년 12월에 낙상 공공 프로젝트가 시행이 되어서 주민들과 예술가들이 함께 이 마을을 변모시키기 시작했습니다. 어두웠던 골목길이 벽화로 인해서 아름답게 바뀌었고 그 이후에 관광객들이 많이 찾는 명소가 되었습니다.
After passing by old steelworks, one comes across a shabby, narrow back alley where the walls are decorated with beautiful paintings. The steelworks complex in Muledong, Seoul was built in the 1960s, but now it's also home to an artist village.
공장이랑 예술이랑 좀 안 어울릴 줄 알았는데 막상 와보니까 좀 묘한 느낌이 들기도 하고 마치 좀 큰 미술관 같은 그런 느낌이 들었어요.
This artist village is home to more than 300 artists. Thanks to collaboration between factory workers and artists, this neighborhood has become one of Seoul's most unique attractions. Seongsu-dong in Seoul is known as a shoemaking neighborhood where many handmade shoes are produced. Created in the 1960s, this neighborhood is still home to some 500 shoemaking firms. A vast array of uniquely designed shoes make this area fun to visit.
성수동 구두거리 처음 와봤는데 백화점보다 가격도 저렴하고 질도 좋은 것 같아서 이제 여기서 좋은 구두 사고 봄이라 좋은 곳에 놀러 가고 싶어요.
Instead of traveling far away to enjoy the spring, take a stroll in the old neighborhoods of Seoul where the past is still alive. And now let's take a look at the markets, followed by the world weather. And that's it for this edition of News Today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again at the same time tomorrow. Goodbye.